down. I'm like trying to keep up with it and add it up and do math. And now I'm like, wow, I am expensive.
You're gonna have fun doing this.
Gonna be a little embarrassing.
If they say anything more than 2,000, my head might blow up.
Okay. I know reality TV, there's game competitions, there's dating competitions, there's whatever competitions. I wish someone would come up with a reality TV show where people are taught to manage their finances, because this challenge was appalling in my opinion. Other people might say it differently, but in my opinion, $2,000 on makeup and hair is a bit too much. That's a bit too much. But maybe, I'm very naive as someone who doesn't use as much makeup. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button. Turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos. And definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Somebody's Son, Season 1, Episode 6. I truly don't want to believe that my girl Lexi is messy. I don't want to believe she's messy. I want to believe that someone pushed her to do it. Unless, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know as a person. So you have, everyone wake up. You have, Joshua make breakfast for Oma and the girls. Tamaris is having a confessional. She's not feeling great because it seems like, Joshua downplayed her date with her when he had a conversation with Lexi. And it's like, what did you expect him to say? Did you expect him to come back and say, oh, we kissed, we were holding hands, we're doing... No. He said to her, and it's actually shown in a clip, that I don't have a front runner at the moment, which should be the truth. He doesn't have a front runner. Others would have eliminated the other girls. And so for Tamaris to come down for breakfast and throw a tantrum, I'm not buying it. I really don't get it. And I'm so confused because why are you throwing a tantrum? He is not your man. Yes, you had a connection with him. Why not speak to him first and let him sort of explain himself before you embarrass yourself in front of his aunt and everybody else? Because now you have everybody else, Shambriel and Lexi. They're uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable. Joshua's asking her, good morning, how was you? She won't even speak to him. And it's like, the first thing she should have done is she should have called him aside. And now I have a feeling if there is a dumping, Tamaris is going home. We all know Auntie Oma doesn't play. The same way she sent Martha home is the same way she'll send Tamaris home, because at the end of the day, her nephew comes first. So Tamaris had better watch it, because the tantrums she's throwing on TV, other guys are going to see it, and she's going to carry that label. So as much as she feels aggrieved, she should have pulled this man aside, had a conversation, and then kept it stepping after that. If she's not happy to stay, then she's not happy to stay and she'll just go home. You have James and his mom, Charlize. They're having a conversation about his date with Alicia. And James is like, oh, it was a very spicy date. I nearly kissed her. It was very steamy. And for his mom to say, she had everything hanging out, so why wouldn't he be tempted? And it's like, oh my God, this mom is a bit too much. I personally feel like Charlize is there to be a star of the show. That's the impression that I get. And so for everyone else to think that she's seriously into this man, I don't get it. I think she knows he really fancies her. And so she's going to do everything within her power to win. And this is where we're going to end. Anyway, both Joshua and Oma and James and Charlize receive a message to say the girls are going to be bearing it all and going makeup free. And it's like, oh my God. Charlize is excited because this is what she wants to see. I think Auntie Oma is more intuitional and she's more observant. So it's going to be interesting to see her opinion when the girls react to this news. So you have James and his mom, Chriselle, go to the girls and let them know that the task will be for them to remove their makeup. And the girls are taken aback because obviously they've taken time getting ready for this man and now they have to go and clean their faces. And immediately you have Brevon stand up and she's ready to go because for her, I feel like she sees this as a competition, like she's in a pageant. That's the impression that I get. Anyway, all the girls go and remove their makeup and then they come back. When they come back, they're informed that they're going to have to write up their monthly sort of maintenance budget to get them, to look the way they look. What do they do? First up is Alicia. Alicia, I'm not surprised. I really am not surprised. She said she spends $150 on yoga, $180 on hair color, $150 on hair products, and it can't be monthly. It can't be monthly. You can't tell me she uses $150 worth of hair products every month. I don't know. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Her makeup is $300 every month. I don't get it. I don't think she understood the question. Nails, I get, she said 150, but still that's expensive. Sauna, she says 155. And then a massage, 120. I think things on her list that could have been every other month are things like hair products and makeup. I don't get the hair color. Her coloring her hair every month. I don't know. Her budget didn't make sense. And you could see that, James got the ick as she read through her list. You could see that his expression changed because he started to realize that maybe she might be out of his reach. Sabrina said she spends 115 on her nails and she spends 300 on hair removal and then 400 on products and 225 on her hair. And it's like, hey, to each their own, but that's quite a lot. And then Brevon says, she does mostly everything. The only thing that she goes to someone else is her eyebrows threading, which is $10 a month. And I get it. She's a pageant queen, so obviously she's had to sort of improvise and do stuff herself. So I get over time she'd become an expert, but she said she's open to the idea of her partner pampering her from time to time. So her budget was actually surprising for everybody because I think everybody else expected her to be more high maintenance being a pageant queen, and so this was a pleasant surprise. You then have James and Shalice go and have a conversation on the side about the budgets. And James, I think, reached the realization that as much as he really likes, Alicia, she might be out of his reach. His mom's comment was a bit side-eye because it was a bit below the belt. Anyway, you had James choose who he wanted to go on a date with, and he chose to go with Sabrina. It makes sense. He's already been on a one-to-one with Brevon. He's already been on a one-to-one with Alicia. So it makes sense that he would go with Sabrina. That way, every girl has had an opportunity to spend time with him in case he needs to make a choice of who he wants to dump. Poor Brevon was devastated because I think she expected him to pick her because she had the lowest budget. But I think Brevon needs to stop putting everybody else's opinion on herself. She is someone who's a high achiever. Even you had James's mom, Shalice, acknowledge that Brevon is a high achiever. She's into property investments. So it makes sense that she's got no money to sort of waste on silly things. So we have Joshua and Auntie Oma tell the girls that, they're going to have to take off their makeup. You can tell that some of them feel some type of way. Chambrielle doesn't seem really fazed by it. Lexi is in her feelings. And we have Tamaris who's feeling some type of way because she feels like, Joshua wasn't honest with her. And so the girls are then asked to come up with a budget of how much they spend monthly on their maintenance. And these budgets have me side-eyeing these people. And I hope this is a teachable moment for these girls because this is a bit out of hand. In my opinion, how much are they earning? Because it's almost 2K for Chambrielle's budget. Her budget is 250 on hair installation, 450 on hair, 200 on a full set of nails, I assume, and a pedicure, 125 on lashes, 150 on skincare, 200 on gym. Oh my God, that's a lot. That's a lot on gym. And then she has to pay spa 300. Why doesn't the gym have a spa? Anyway, sidetrack. And then 140 on her teeth. So her budget comes up to 1,815. And I am already looking at her and going, girl, this is a bit too much. This is too much. I don't get it. You have Auntie Oma sort of just trying to pacify Joshua because Joshua, you can see his eyes are sort of coming out of his head. He's wondering, what are these girls spending money on? Next up, we have Lexi. She says she spends 120 on nails and 120 on lashes. Everything else she does herself. So she does her own hair and everything else. And it's like, hey, if that works for you, amazeballs. Tamaris says she spends 450 on brows, lamination, wax, and tint. And it's like, that's a lot. That really is a lot. She spends 200 on to install, 120 on lashes, 500 on massage, facial 225, 500 for extras. Her budget is 2,000, and it's like, this is somebody else's salary, or maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't get it. I don't understand the budgets. I think it's a bit too much, and I think it's a bit over the top. And I think these girls might need some financial tutoring because this is a bit over the top. You can't tell me that they think this is rational because at the end of the day, what happens if you suddenly lose your source of income? Are you going to, really struggle? And I don't get it. So you have James and Sabrina go on this massage date, and I'm side-eyeing production that how low is your budget that you have them sort of have their massages on the patio? I thought they were actually going to leave the house and go away. That way they're away from everybody else. But no, they took them to the patio, had their little massages there, and then just took them across to a little sort of setup in the same garden area, and then they were having their conversations. Sabrina seems more at peace in this space. She seems more at peace because I think for her, the main issue was that, there was concern that she doesn't seem to be coming out of her shell. And so James is actually excited because he says he doesn't know whether it's the wine, but something has sort of managed to sort of get her out of her head. And she seems to be she seems to be opening up and she seems to be enjoying herself. So he really likes that. I don't know whether she's it for him. I think he might settle with her just because he's realized that the girl that he wanted, Alicia, is way out of his league. Her budget is way too much for him. Not that he can't afford it, but I think he has a realistic view of what he wants in a partner. I am side-eyeing production because for me it seems like Joshua has a better budget than the other people, or Joshua and Chad have a better budget than James, because the room that Joshua went for his massage with Lexi was amazing. It was this big room. They went just outside somewhere. Obviously they then sat down for a drink afterwards and had quite a thought-provoking conversation, which I feel was necessary. As a single mom, it's important that, Lexi is as honest, transparent, and realistic as possible. So for her to tell him that I always have to make my decisions knowing, that my children are watching me and that this affects them as individuals was amazing. Also for Joshua to ask her as a mom, so what's going on with your co-parenting situation? Where do you see yourself in 3 years? I think they actually had a very good conversation. I think it was necessary for him to have a conversation that wasn't just flirting and, oh, I want to hold your hand, I want to kiss you. And because this is a serious situation for someone like Lexi. She's not just there for a hookup. She's there for a life partner. Yes, if you're single, you can afford, I'm not saying that you also don't want something permanent. Yes, you want something permanent. But it's only just you who will go through the hurt, whereas Lexi has children as well that will go through the hurt. So I loved that conversation. I loved that it was an aha moment for Joshua to realize that if I'm taking this on board and I'm going all in with Lexi, then I need to understand that it's not just me and Lexi. It's me, myself, Lexi, her children, and the other partner that sort of will co-parent with us. So I loved that. And then you had Joshua have a conversation with Tamaris. This was overdue. This was overdue. And yes, he was honest. I sort of appreciate his comment because he told her that at the end of the day, yes, I have to protect your feelings, but I also have to protect everybody else's feelings. Because had he come in after his date and said to Lexi, oh, I'm sold, this is it, then Lexi would be questioning, why am I still here? Why don't I go home? What am I still doing here if he's found this person? So him trying to be transparent and honest was good. It's now up to Tamaris to decide, is she willing to sort of compete for this man, or does she want to go home? I don't know about Tamaris. I think Tamaris is very vulnerable. I think she needs to go home. I said this before, I'll say it again. She is one of the people that I feel would have benefited on being on either Love is Blind or Married at First Sight, because then she wouldn't need to compete for someone. In Love is Blind, you'd only compete in the pods. Once you leave the pods, that's it. So it's sad but true. Anyway, it was a great episode. I can't wait to see what happens next week. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 5. Bye guys.